Good morning. My name's Laura. I'm the founder at SafeStack. When times are normal, I help very fast-growing companies do security, and today we need to have a talk about that. Some of you are facing some really tough decisions right now. You are trying to survive in a very uncertain time, and that means you're making some decisions to save money, to extend your runway to whatever that is. Now, some of these decisions have impacts for security for your business, and whether you have a security person like me or not, you need to think about these things. So either these are things you need to do, or things that your team who are helping you out will be needing to get on with. Okay, I hope you find them useful, and more importantly, I hope you and your company stay safe and survive, hopefully even thrive after these challenging times. Okay, good luck. One of the things many of you will be doing is reducing your reliance on some of the SaaS products in your life. You know those ones where you signed up and it was like $30 a month, and then 3 years later you've got $30,000 a month in SaaS subscriptions, and you're trying to kind of cut back the fat. This is where you're going to do it. Now, cutting back on your accounts has a few implications. Firstly, check the tiers of the account. If you're downgrading between an enterprise or a professional level and a basic or a free tier, you might be losing some of the features that are keeping you secure. So please check what you're going to lose when you downgrade. And then prioritize your accounts. Some accounts may not seem very important to you. They may not seem particularly sensitive. But if your team is using them for their design purposes or for their workflow, you might find you've got a lot of sensitive information in there. Make sure you understand what happens when you downgrade. Do they delete the data? Does it become public? What happens next? And what control do you have? Don't make any decisions until you know what the repercussions are. Another strategy we see a lot at this point is shifting from individual accounts for our team members to having shared accounts. Now, I can see the advantage. You pay for one license and it's shared between 3 people, and those people might not even use it every day. So, it saves you quite a bit of money. But there's a few security things I need you to do. When we share accounts, we make it so that it's hard to tell who took an action. We can't have an audit trail of that account. We don't know if something goes wrong, who we need to talk to about it. So when you're setting up sharing account situations, I want you to do a couple of things. Firstly, don't do it for every account. Not every account is really sensible to do this with. Those finance accounts, those password managers, don't do that. Keep those as individual accounts. But if you do have to share, then I want you to make sure you're using a password manager, such as 1Password or LastPass. I don't care which you choose. And I want you to make sure that that password is really high quality. And I don't mean your mom's maiden name and 8 characters long. I mean 30 characters and you couldn't remember it if you tried. I also want you to set up 2-factor. I know multi-factor authentication is a pain when you're sharing an account, but some of our password managers will allow you to put your one-time password in your password manager. Now, this should be raising security red flags, absolutely, but I want you to remember that it's better to have 2-factor that's stored in your password manager than have no 2-factor at all. I want you to switch back to individual accounts as soon as you're able. That's going to keep you secure in the long run. Some of you, like me, are probably rocking the home office right now. You're seeing me in my chic 1970s office. That's great, but it has some implications for your business. If you're going to go remote now because saving 10 grand a year in office rental is pretty tempting when you've got a small runway, then please remember, you need to talk about what's exposed now. Have you now put systems that were designed for internal use out on the internet? Are people able to connect safely from wherever they are? Remember, not everyone's home office situation looks like yours. What's going to happen if they lose internet connectivity? What happens if they don't have access to a shared physical device or piece of equipment? Going remote is a great choice. There's a load of really great resources out there making it work, but it takes conscious thought. So please, before you cut your lease and wander off to permanently work from cafes and 1970s bedrooms, you think about what you're exposing as a result. The final one we're going to talk about today is the hardest of all. A lot of leaders today are going to be making decisions of how many people can stay on their team. The sad reality of uncertain economic times is that we cut our teams. We say goodbye to people we care about, who we would love to continue working with. I'm not here to discuss why you should do that or why you shouldn't. That's for you and your board or your advisors. But I am here to talk about the things you need to do from a security perspective once that happens. The first thing you need to do is revoke access. So all the accounts they are assigned need to be consciously cut down, cancelled, deleted. That's not something you can say for a rainy day, just shut them off on day one. Secondly, if they had access to any shared accounts or passwords, so those could be your production environment, they could be a finance system, I don't know what it could be for you, make sure those accounts have not just been closed down if they're individual, but the ones that were shared, I want you to change the passwords, and I know that's a pain. I'm not telling you to do easy things today, I'm telling you to do the right thing. So change those passwords, change the access keys. I'm not saying your former staff members are going to do you harm, but I want to reduce the risk they could ever be accused of it. Let's keep our people safe even when they're not our people anymore. The last thing we want to do when a staff member leaves us is also to collect all their devices. Now, if you've given them a laptop to use, this is quite straightforward. Take back the laptop. You want to be properly deleting the data from it, so using a proper approved wipe process. Now, if they've been using their personal devices, this gets tricky, especially if you are not using any controls that will allow you to wipe devices remotely. There's a lot of trust going on here. The first thing I want you to do is to have a think. What access to systems and tools did somebody have? Now, for some of us, we look at what's on our phones, we're like, oh, it's just my email, it's just my Slack. But actually, there's a lot of conversations, a lot of important data is passing around in these tools and apps. I want you to have a chat with them. Hopefully, you're going to do this gracefully. You're going to do this as a nice human, one to another in a difficult situation. Ask them to help you make sure those tools are removed. If things happen a little bit differently and nobody's really happy with each other, then you need to make sure that you're monitoring these accounts and these accesses, especially after they leave. I hope this video will have been useful, identifying some of the things you need to do if you're about to change your business to try and make it leaner, to make it last longer. Remember, security isn't something we just get to when we're feeling flush, when we have a lot of cash. Security is every day. Risk is every day. You face it all the time. So don't forget in all of this craziness that you still need to keep your people, your data and your systems safe. Good luck out there. Kia kaha.